You hear stories about betrayal all the time. Husbands cheating with co-workers, wives having secret affairs with friends. But you never think it'll happen to you. For me, the truth hit like a truck. My wife, the mother of my children, the person I trusted most, was having an affair. And the man she chose, it wasn't just some stranger. It was the father of one of the boys from my son's team, someone we saw every single week. Someone I thought was just another parent, standing next to me on the sidelines. I never imagined the betrayal would come from so close. We had been married for 10 years. 2 kids, a comfortable home, a routine. She coached our son's little league team, and I was proud of how dedicated she was. But then, little things began to change. She'd stay after practice, saying she needed to talk to parents. Sometimes she came home late, making excuses about last-minute planning. Her phone became her shadow. She used to leave it lying around. Now, it was always in her pocket or face down on the counter. She smiled at it more than she smiled at me. At first, I thought I was paranoid. Every marriage has stress, right? Maybe I was just overthinking. But that pit in my stomach kept getting heavier. Deep down, I knew something was wrong. The truth came out one quiet evening. She was in the shower, and her phone buzzed on the nightstand. I don't usually invade her privacy, but that night my gut told me to look. I opened the messages, and my heart dropped. They weren't just casual chats. They were flirty, intimate, messages no married woman should be sending. The name at the top of the screen made me feel sick. It wasn't a coworker, not a stranger, not some random guy from online. It was the father of one of the boys on my son's team. There were pet names, jokes that crossed lines. One message read, "You're basically my girlfriend now." And she replied with laughing emojis and hearts. My hands shook as I scrolled. It wasn't just 1 or 2 texts. It was weeks of back and forth. Long late-night conversations, sneaking out after practice, meeting when she said she was with friends. I sat there in disbelief. My wife, the person I thought I knew better than anyone, talking like this with a man I had shared sideline conversations with, a man whose son played alongside mine. I can't describe the mixture of anger and humiliation that rushed through me. It felt like the walls were closing in. When she came out of the shower, I was sitting on the bed, phone in my hands. I asked her, calm but firm, "Who is he? Why is the father of our son's teammate calling you his girlfriend?" Her face went pale. She froze, then laughed nervously, trying to brush it off. She said it was just a joke, harmless, that I was overreacting. But the messages told a different story. There were too many, too much intimacy, too much emotion. I showed her the screen, the pet names, the hearts, the plans to meet. She broke down crying. The truth spilled out. She admitted she had been seeing him for months. Her excuse? She said she felt unappreciated, that she needed excitement, that it wasn't serious, just an escape. But tell me, how do you call it not serious? When you lie to your husband, when you betray your family, when you put everything at risk, it wasn't just a mistake. It was a choice. Over and over again. I wish I could say I handled it with dignity, but the truth is, I was broken. Every smile she gave me replayed in my head, now twisted into a lie. Every late night at practice, every text she typed with her back turned to me, it all added up. And the worst part? Knowing that this man, this other father, would still be standing on the sidelines, pretending nothing happened, watching my kid play, while he played with my wife behind my back. I couldn't do it. I couldn't pretend. I filed for divorce, not out of spite, but because once trust is shattered like that, there's no gluing it back together. Not for me. In the weeks after, I kept asking myself the same question. How did we get here? How does a marriage built over a decade, with kids and memories and promises, collapse so fast? It wasn't just the affair, it was the trust. Once it was gone, every memory felt poisoned. I looked back at family vacations, birthdays, even quiet nights on the couch, and I couldn't help but wonder, was she already lying to me then? Was she already thinking about someone else? And the man she chose, that made it so much worse. It wasn't a stranger. It wasn't someone I could forget about. It was a father who stood beside me week after week, cheering for our kids. Someone I shook hands with, someone I invited into my home. To know that the betrayal came from both of them, it cuts deeper than I can explain. I realized that betrayal doesn't just break your heart. It makes you question your own judgment. You start to wonder, if I didn't see this coming, what else am I blind to? Who else have I trusted that didn't deserve it? But here's what I've learned. The truth always finds a way out. You can cover your tracks, delete your messages, hide behind excuses, but sooner or later, the mask slips. And when it does, it's devastating. Walking away was the hardest decision of my life, but also the only one I could make. Staying would have meant living every day with the ghost of her lies. Leaving gave me pain, yes, but also freedom. If you're watching this and you feel something isn't right in your own relationship, trust your instincts. Don't ignore the signs. The truth hurts, but denial destroys you even more. My marriage ended that day, but my life didn't. I survived, and if you've been betrayed, you will too. Because betrayal can break you, but it can also set you free. Even now, months later, the memories still sting. I'll be driving past the field where my son played, and it all comes rushing back. The cheers, the laughter, the other parents standing beside us. What used to feel like family now feels like a crime scene. I've learned that betrayal doesn't just end when the relationship ends. It lingers. It creeps into your thoughts at night, into the silence of your mornings. It changes the way you look at people, the way you trust, the way you love. But here's the truth. Scars don't mean you're broken. They mean you've survived. And as heavy as this betrayal was, it reminded me that I deserve honesty, I deserve loyalty, and I deserve peace. Maybe one day I'll forgive. Maybe not. But I know this. I will never settle for lies again.